Okay, let's unpack this. Artificial intelligence is truly, well, it's revolutionizing how we work, how we create, how we interact with information, right?
Absolutely. It's a massive shift.
But, with that immense potential comes, well, the drill, an equally significant responsibility, especially when it touches your sensitive data.
Hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into data security posture management, DSPM, specifically tailored for AI.
Right.
Our mission is really to explore how a system like Microsoft Purview provides those essential guardrails, helping you manage data security and compliance for these crucial AI
And
interactions.
what's fascinating here, I think, is that we're talking about safely adopting AI without compromising on data protection or productivity. That's the key balance.
Exactly.
So our objective today is really to cut through the complexity, pull out the core insights on how organizations can secure their AI environments. And we're pulling practical guidance directly from Microsoft's recommendations on this.
Yeah, so by the end of this deep dive, you, our listener, should have a really clear understanding of the kind of foundational requirements, the types of intelligent policies available, and how robust monitoring works to keep your data safe when you're interacting with AI.
Think of it as a shortcut.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on this critical and, frankly, rapidly evolving area.
It moves fast.
It really does. Okay, so to truly secure those AI interactions, we need that solid foundation. What are the absolute must-haves then? When getting started with DSPM for AI within Microsoft Purview, what are those key prerequisites you need?
Okay, yeah. It starts, as it often does, with making sure you have the right permissions, within your identity and access management system, like Microsoft Entra
What
ID.
used to be Azure AD, right?
Yeah, exactly. What many know as Azure Active Directory. Roles like Microsoft Entra ID Compliance Administrator or Global Administrator or the Microsoft Purview Compliance Administrator. Those are essential for the full management capabilities. That's how you get to view, create, edit all the DSPM for AI settings. There's also a Microsoft Purview Security Reader role if you just need view-only access.
Right.
But the crucial insight here isn't just like a list of permissions. It's understanding that securing your AI interactions really begins with granular access control, that principle of least privilege, right from the start.
That principle of least privilege, yeah, that makes perfect sense for controlling who can do what. But often the devil's in the details with these setups, isn't it?
Always.
From your experience, what's a common prerequisite people might overlook? Or maybe a hiccup they frequently encounter trying to get this running, especially with Microsoft's own AI, like Copilot?
That's a great question. And it often comes down to ensuring the AI interactions themselves are even visible for monitoring in the first place.
Ah,
So
okay.
for tools like Microsoft Copilot and various agents, purview auditing needs to be enabled for your organization. Now, it's usually the default, but definitely worth a double check.
Good tip.
And crucially, users of Microsoft 365 Copilot and other agents, they must be assigned a Microsoft 365 Copilot license.
Right, the license, that trips people up sometime.
It can, and if you're using more specialized Copilots, like maybe in Fabric or a Security Copilot, you'll need the enterprise version of Microsoft Purview Data Governance. That's needed to support the APIs for that deeper integration.
Okay.
Beyond that, a collection policy is vital to actually capture these interactions. These are often generated automatically from recommendations,
Yeah.
especially for Copilot experiences. But you need it.
So it's not just about the data being used, but how the AI itself is licensed, enabled, even what version you're running. Wow, that's a level of detail many might miss.
It's easy to overlook.
So what about other AI applications then? Perhaps those, beyond the immediate Microsoft ecosystem or even those third-party generative AI services like, say, ChatGPT. How do you extend security there?
Yeah, that's where things get even more interesting. The principles stay the same, but the technical steps adapt naturally.
Right.
For monitoring interactions and applying data loss prevention or DLP policies, think those as your digital bouncers, right? Designed to warn or block users sharing sensitive info.
Right.
To apply those to other AI apps in Microsoft Edge, you'll need an Edge configuration policy.
Mm.
That activates the Purview integration.
Makes sense.
For those third-party generative AI sites like ChatGPT, there are a few additional layers. First, devices need to be onboarded to Microsoft Purview. That's crucial.
Why is that?
That gives you the fundamental visibility into sensitive information being shared with those sites.
Yeah.
Then you layer on those endpoint DLP policies to warn or block users.
Okay.
And what's particularly powerful here is the ability to leverage adaptive protection. For instance, if a user with an elevated risk level tries to share data, the system can block it, but maybe with an option to override depending on the policy.
So it's about making sure your security tools are even aware of these external interactions. That sounds like a major blind spot for a lot of organizations.
It definitely can be.
Is there anything else needed for those third-party sites, like an extra layer of detection or something?
Precisely. To really broaden the visibility, especially for insider risk management policies, the Microsoft Purview browser extension needs to be deployed. For Windows users, anyway.
Ah, the extension. Okay.
Yeah, this extension is key for discovering visits to those third-party generative AI sites. It's also necessary for endpoint DLP policies on Windows when you're using Chrome.
Got it.
And just a practical note for many organizations, for AI apps other than M365 Copilot and Microsoft Facilitator, you might need to set up pay-as-you-go billing in your Azure subscription to cover the data processing costs.
Right. Costs. Always a factor.
Always. And finally, when it comes to deploying those one-click policies that DSPM for AI offers, which we'll get into, you generally need to be an unrestricted administrator to apply them broadly. Restricted admins will only see results for users in their assigned administrative unit.
Okay, that makes sense. So with those foundational prerequisites understood, the next crucial step is putting the right guardrails in place. So what kinds of policies are we actually talking about to actively secure these AI interactions? You mentioned one-click policies. What exactly are those, and what kinds of data security challenges do they tackle for AI?
Right. These one-click policies are incredibly valuable because they're pre-configured. They make it much easier to protect your data with AI interactions.
So quick start.
Exactly. They provide rapid insights, help prevent data loss, assist with risk assessments, and ensure compliance. You can broadly categorize them into detection, prevention, and governance.
Okay, let's start with detection.
Sure. For detection, there's a default DLP policy. It's called DSPM for AI detect sensitive info added to AI sites. Now, this policy covers all users, but it's in audit mode only initially.
Audit mode. Why is that important?
It's crucial because it means it identifies sensitive content being pasted or uploaded to AI sites in browsers like Edge or Firefox, but it doesn't block it yet. It lets organizations gain that critical visibility into potential exposures first. Establish a baseline of behavior before you start implementing more restrictive blocking.
Okay, so it's about gaining that vital intelligence first, seeing what's actually happening. What other types of policies round out this suite, especially maybe for understanding risky behavior?
Yeah, so for insider risk management, we have one called DSPM for AI detect when users visit AI sites. Pretty straightforward. Applies a browser policy to simply detect user visits.
Just logs the visit.
Right. Then there's DSPM for AI detect risky AI usage. Now, this one is truly fascinating because it doesn't just look at the data being shared.
Oh.
It helps calculate user risk by detecting risky prompts and responses in M365 Copilot, agents, and other generative AI apps. It's monitoring the interaction itself, the context of the conversation, not just the raw content being moved.
Interesting. So that raises a question, doesn't it? How do you define risky behavior in an AI interaction beyond just like pasting classified data?
Exactly. It's a deeper level of analysis.
That sounds like it's trying to get ahead of potential misuse, almost like a behavioral early warning system.
Sort of, yeah.
Are there policies for communication compliance too, to flag maybe ethical concerns or inappropriate use?
Absolutely. There's a communication compliance, DSPM for AI unethical behavior in AI apps policy. It detects sensitive information, yes, but also looks for problematic language in prompts and responses within M365, Copilot, agents, and other Gen AI apps across the org.
Okay.
Beyond that, we have collection policies like DSPM for AI capture interactions for Copilot experiences. This secures those interactions for regulatory compliance data governance needs.
Right. For the record.
Yep. There's also DSPM for AI detects sensitive info shared with AI via network. This extends insights into sensitive data in AI apps through browsers, add-ins, and even Secure Access Service Edge, or SaaS, integration.
SaaS, can you quickly unpack that?
Sure. SaaS, it basically combines network security functions with wide area networking, WAN capabilities to support secure access from anywhere. So this policy helps catch things going through those channels too.
Got it. More comprehensive network visibility.
Right. And there are others like DSPM for AI capture interactions for enterprise AI apps and DSPM for AI detects sensitive info shared in AI prompts in Edge. Continuing this focus on capturing and detecting data shares through various AI app interactions.
That's a really comprehensive suite just for detection. But for many organizations, simply knowing about a risk isn't enough. They need to actually prevent it.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
So do these policies extend to active blocking? And if they do, how does that work without just, completely stifling productivity?
That's the critical next step, and it's where policies using adaptive protection really shine.
Adaptive protection, we mentioned that earlier.
Right. It's like having a smart bouncer for your data. It doesn't just turn everyone away. It makes judgments based on who's trying to get in, what their risk level is, what they're trying to bring, essentially.
Give me an example.
Sure. There's a DLP policy, DSPM, for AI block-sensitive info from AI apps in Edge. It uses adaptive protection. So it might give a block with override option to users identified as having an elevated risk level if they try to paste or upload sensitive info to other AI apps in Edge, Chrome, Firefox.
So block, but maybe they can justify it if needed.
Depending on how it's configured, yes.
All right.
Or another one, DLP policy DSPM for AI block elevated risk users from submitting prompts to AI apps in Microsoft Edge. This specifically targets and blocks elevated, moderate, and minor risk users from even submitting prompts.
Wow, okay.
And these policies usually start in test or audit mode, again, allowing you to fine-tune them. But they can be fully enforced to actively prevent that data exfiltration.
So it's not just a blanket block hammer, it's about adaptive prevention based on the user's dynamic risk profile. That's really smart.
It's much more nuanced, yeah.
And what about data that already has, say, sensitivity labels applied, confidential, highly confidential? How does DSPM for AI respect those existing classifications?
Exactly, it integrates. There's a specific DLP policy, DSPM for AI, protects sensitive data from Copilot processing. This blocks M365 Copilot and agents from processing items that have specific sensitivity labels you select.
So you choose which labels trigger the block.
Correct. And this works seamlessly alongside your existing information protection sensitivity labels and policies. In fact, Purview can even help create default sensitivity labels and policies if you don't have them configured already.
Ah, helpful.
It's all about extending your existing, hopefully well-established data classification framework into this rapidly expanding world of AI interactions, ensuring consistency and control.
That's a really powerful overview of the policies and how they're designed to proactively protect things. Okay, so once these policies are actually in place, the next logical question is, how do you monitor their effectiveness? How do you get that real-time visibility into what's happening? Where do you go to see the activity?
Right, that's where the Activity Explorer becomes your command center, really.
Activity Explorer, okay.
It helps you deeply understand the events related to data security posture management for AI. You can see various crucial event types there.
Like what?
For instance, AI interaction events. These detail the prompts and responses with generative AI sites, including Microsoft Copilot, gives you a real forensic view.
So you can see the actual conversation snippet.
You can see details about them, yes.
Yeah.
There's also AI website visit, which shows when a user simply browsed to a generative AI site. Important for tracking potentially unauthorized access or just general usage patterns.
Wow. Okay, so the Activity Explorer really gives you that granular detail. That seems incredibly powerful for understanding not just if something happened, but potentially what users were doing and what data might have been involved.
Exactly.
What other kinds of insights can we pull from there?
You'll also find DLP rule match events. These indicate precisely when a data loss prevention rule was triggered during a generative AI site interaction. Very direct feedback on policy effectiveness.
Okay, that's concrete.
And sensitive info types shows when specific sensitive information types like credit card numbers, PII, whatever you've defined, were detected during a user's interaction with a generative AI site. Again, crucial actionable insights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also worth noting, DSPM for AI automatically runs a weekly data risk assessment. It looks at the top 100 SharePoint sites based on usage.
Oh, interesting. What does that do?
It helps you proactively identify, then remediate, and monitor potential oversharing of data with Copilot specifically. And you can even create custom data risk assessments for specific users or sites if you need to drill down. Lets you tailor your risk analysis.
That's a powerful way to keep a continuous eye on things, sort of proactively hunting for risk.
Mm.
Are there any known issues or practical nuances to be aware of when looking at these Activity Explorer events? What are the common considerations or limitations, maybe?
Yes, it's always good to be aware of a few points. For those AI interaction events, Sometimes the prompt and response text for Copilot doesn't always display consecutive entries correctly,
Yeah.
or it might not display AI-generated notes from Microsoft Facilitator in some cases,
Hmm.
or if a user doesn't have an Exchange Online mailbox, that can affect it too.
Okay, little display quirks.
Yeah, minor things to know.
Hmm.
Another point is that the sensitive info types detected event doesn't currently display the user's calculated risk level within the Activity Explorer itself. That's something to keep in mind for your analysis. You might need to correlate it elsewhere. And for some of those collection policies, like the one detecting sensitive info shared via the network, the option to actually capture the prompts and responses might not be selected by default when the policy is automatically created. So you might need to manually edit it to ensure that specific data is captured if you need it.
Ah, okay, so double check the defaults on auto-created policies.
Exactly. These are relatively minor, but they're important considerations if you need truly comprehensive monitoring.
Okay, that makes sense. So wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you, our listener? We've really taken quite a deep dive here into data security posture management for AI,
We have.
exploring how powerful tools like Microsoft Purview provide the insights, those ready-to-use policies, and the essential risk assessments you need to protect your data as you interact with all sorts of AI tools, from M365 Copilot and agents to even those third-party generative AI services.
Mhm.
It's fundamentally about empowering safe AI adoption across your organization, isn't it?
That's the core goal. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's just crystal clear that organizations need a strategic, a layered approach to data security with AI.
Right.
It's not just one thing.
Right.
From ensuring the right, granular permissions are in place, like for that Entra ID compliance administrator role, to deploying those intelligent one-click policies that actively prevent sensitive info from being shared.
Mm-hmm.
This framework provides a really robust foundation.
Yeah.
And the Activity Explorer, despite a few current nuances with displaying consecutive entries or user risk level sometimes, still offers crucial visibility into AI interactions. It gives you that forensic detail you often need.
Absolutely. And, we talked quite a bit about how DSPM for AI uses tools like sensitivity labels and adaptive protection to dynamically enforce policies and block risky interactions based on current data and user risk.
Right.
This raises an important question, I think, maybe for the future. As AI becomes even more sophisticated, as it starts generating its own unique content beyond just processing existing data, how might the very concept of sensitive information or risky interactions evolve?
That's a fascinating thought.
What new categories or types of, say, sensitivity labels might we need to consider, not just for the data going in, but for the actual outputs and even the behaviors of the AI itself?
Labeling AI-generated content based on its own potential risk or sensitivity.
Yeah. Something to mull over, perhaps, as you navigate this fascinating, fast-moving world of AI. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.